All right, everyone. Welcome to this daily Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for Thursday, September 13th, 2018. All right, so today we do have some shifting of signs. We have the moon shifting from Virgo going into Libra. So the theme likely shifting from what has been the past few days of doing more of the work and striving towards improvement and refining things. Now shifting into a bit more of themes regarding balance. So this can be finding balance in our life, but also in our interpersonal relationships as well. So in terms of the aspects today, we are lifting off of that Venus opposite Uranus. If you felt any erratic energy involving Venusian things like the relationship area or finances or our values, that's lifting off today, leaving us with a bit of grounded energy because Venus is still sextiling Saturn, so really good for grounding those things. And today, Mars is going to be sextiling up to Chiron, so there could be some healing taking place, at least an opening for that, when we are perhaps pursuing things through action or initiative that maybe require confidence or courage, very healing with that. And Mercury is going to be opposite Neptune the later part of the day. So good to find the balance between the imagination, which will likely be very strong, with the more practical things. All right, so let's take a look at all of this here in more detail when we return. All right, so here's the sky for this Thursday. Again, we are using what's called true Sidereal Astrology, which does change the signs from mainstream astrology. So if you do notice some of the signs I'm mentioning are different, be sure to check out that link down below for more information. All right, so the moon changing sign here today, coming out of what has been a very large constellation of Virgo. These past few days of more of the earthy energy, which has been more about doing the work, and things that require self-discipline. And this stuff will likely still be the theme the first part of the day as we slowly transition into Libra. So as the day unfolds, we will likely notice more themes, especially going into tomorrow, around creating balance. And this can be in our personal life, seeing if there are any areas of our life that we can bring into balance, also balance within. Also to be aware of things in a sense of how can we see past duality, right? That there's, good, bad, for example, or the mind has this kind of dualistic way of looking at reality. We can kind of transcend that and see it both as equal, both as important, both as an aspect of the mind or of life. And that can help create some balance. Libra is often associated with interpersonal relationships, so we could notice some themes around that. And again, same concept, in this case, balance between individuals. So we could be mediating today. We could be maybe just focusing more on relating, finding harmony, mutuality, mutually beneficial solutions, things like this. Likely the thing collectively as we get into the later part of the day. All right, so that's the backdrop. And of course, we are still somewhat in this early phase of this lunar cycle. We just had that new moon last Sunday, so still good to be gaining some momentum as we approach the weekend. All right, so in terms of the aspects here today, let's talk about Venus, because Venus has been forming a lot of aspects this week. Earlier in the week, she was opposite up to Uranus. So this may have been a bit of erratic energy, maybe impulsive when it comes to the enjoyments of life, maybe when it comes to our relationships, maybe when it comes to finances or our values. Whatever it's been, this is likely lifting off here a bit today, leaving what is a definitely more grounded energy, not only because of that lifting, but Venus is going to be sextiling Saturn within orb today. So Saturn, the planet, is very different from Uranus in the sense that it's more about stability, can create an opening perhaps where we're feeling a bit stable with these enjoyments, with these maybe relationship matters or finances or values in general. So it's just an opening for that. It's available, but certainly some good grounded energy there with the things we enjoy and like to connect to, which is represented by Venus. All right, so today in terms of aspects going exact, we do have Mars sextiling up to Chiron. So this is a bit sort of a backdrop type of energy. It's not that personal, especially because it involves Chiron, which is a comet, has a little bit more to do with healing and maybe some healing through other more external means. So if there is anything today, though, that you do feel like you could do some healing with, if you were to face some fears or take some actions with, right? If there's anything that maybe requires action, requires initiative, that you know that if you do, can be quite healing, very good day for this. Again, just an opening for that with that sextile. So this can lead to a sort of refreshment to that side of ourself, to our confidence, to our courage, to our initiative side, and feeling a bit rejuvenated and refreshed there as we get into the later part of the week, if we choose to work with this energy. But it's certainly available collectively, and it does make it a great day for healing in general, specifically if it has to do with anything that requires our action or initiative or confidence and courage. All right, so that's going exact today, as well as Mercury opposite up to Neptune as we get into the later part of the day and into tomorrow. So this will likely unfold a little bit more and more as the day unfolds, but this is actually a really good energy for imagination and daydreaming, right? Neptune is that planet of the etheric realms, really good for that receptive energy. But in an opposition, we do want to make sure we're staying nice and grounded and nice and balanced. So it's not the easiest day for practical things or using our very conceptual and rational mind, although that's a really good way of grounding this. How can we find that balance between the receptive mind with the practical mind, right? And maybe how can we ground some of these dreams or imaginations or ideals in practical ways, like through writing it or communicating it or coming up with plans based on some of those things. Or it's a great day usually for like creative things, maybe specifically that involve the mind or skills in some way. So great for finding that balance between the practical and etheric, also in terms of our routine as well. If there's anything that we can do that's both spiritual, but then also grounding it like through meditation or spiritual activities or our routine, things that require the work, really good way of working with this opposition. All right, so that's going to be the later part of the day, and the moon will be forming some easy aspects to that opposition, kind of supporting that on an emotional sense. We could just be maybe feeling a bit receptive today, while also maybe a bit practical. All right, so that's the day in a nutshell. Most important thing I would say is this: lifting off of Venus, erratic energy, if you felt that. A little bit of grounded energy there with maybe the relationships and the enjoyments of life. On a minor note, Mars is sextiling Chiron, so there could be some healing. Great day for taking that action and initiative in the face of any wounds. And Mercury, opposite up to Neptune, the later part of the day, really good for finding that balance between the receptive mind and the practical mind, right? All while we sort of shift into what will be tomorrow's dominant energy of Libra, which is about finding balance in our life, both personally and interpersonally. All right, so everyone have a fantastic day. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow for the daily forecast.